welcome to another video in my podcast. My name is Cheryl, and this is Cappuccino Crafts, my little channel on YouTube and my corner of the general interwebs where I like to talk about crafts when I'm doing them, which hasn't been lately. I hope to get back to some good knitting and crocheting soon. And reading and books and sometimes TV or movies and other life and chatty things that I want to share with you. Thank you so very much for choosing to watch this video and spend a little bit of your time with me. I hope that you enjoy it. And now is just a really strange and scary time in the world and in the United States too. And I just feel a little odd if I didn't acknowledge it. Yeah. And I don't really know what to say, and I can't really add anything intelligent or enlightening. But maybe, hopefully, just being together in our internet space, I hope that we can offer some comfort to each other. And I really do, I'm just so brokenhearted for everyone in Ukraine, and I hope that anyone who might possibly see this, who is from there, has family there, I hope that you are safe. I hope that, I know that nothing I can say can help you, but I just offer my my thoughts and my care and my wishes for your safety and that things will get better. And in the United States, it's been, well, our politics has been horrible for a long time, but especially in Texas, there's been some really upsetting developments in recent laws and proposed legislation, and anyone affected by that, I give my care and my support to you as well. Yeah, even though it's not enough, but I hope that this can be a place where we can find comfort, and I do believe that fiction and nonfiction and books can help us get through the really horrible times in our lives and be a place of escape and a place of learning and gathering strength, and a place of hearing voices from other places. And all of those are good things and valuable things, And so I hope that we can gather together in a little bookish discussion that can lift our spirits and strengthen our minds and our hearts. And here, and I included this in the photo at the front of this video, but here is a shawl that my friend gave to me in a care package right after my sister died a few months ago, and it's just such a comforting thing and like a warm hug, and I wanted to include this today. And it is also a very cold and rainy day here in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, in Washington State, where I live and where I record. And so, yeah, I thought it was time to bring this out. A good day for it, and a good time for hugs and friendship, and caring for each other. I have been reading. I've been progressing in my 2 reads that I had already started. Let's start with Late Migrations, which is the only one I have a physical copy of and that I can hold up and photograph for you. This is by Margaret Renkel, and it is a collection of essays, a combination of nature writing and memoir, talking about her life and her family, and also the nature around her, in her garden, in the yard in her home, and also just in her neighborhood, and the states where she grew up and where her family mostly is are Alabama and Tennessee. So this is in the south of the United States, and these essays are really a balm. They feel like a balm when I read them, even though they can deal with some difficult things. A lot of birth and death in nature and in the family. And grief and mental illness, but also the seasons and the promises of life in spring, but also the changes in climate and how climate change is affecting the nature and the seasons and the birds and their migrations. That's where the title of Late Migrations comes from. And I really like these essays. They're beautifully written, and the nature images and the stories of her life and her life with her family, and stories that she heard from her grandparents and through the generations. It's really beautiful, and yeah. And And I do like that these are all so short. I think these short essays are the perfect size. You can just pick it up and read maybe just a couple if that's all the time that you have at the moment. But also the shortness of them helps you keep reading when you have more time. You're like, I can read another one. It's just one more. It's just one page, 3 pages. Yeah, I really like this book, and I'm glad that I'm dipping in and out of it and not rushing through it too fast. Yeah, because there are things in here that are nice to think about too. So that is my nonfiction book, and I continued making progress in Electra by Jennifer Saint. I have that in electronic ARC from NetGalley. So I'm reading that on my phone. And it is a retelling of Electra, her story and her family's story, which is tangential to Troy and the Trojan War. So there are elements of the Trojan War and some characters that are involved in the Trojan War. We have the point of view of Cassandra, who is in Troy, and there are 3 women who are telling the story: Electra, Electra's mother Clytemnestra, and Cassandra, who is in Troy. I'm enjoying this so much. Again, the prose is beautiful, and I'm enjoying the 3 points of view very much. And basically this is a very toxic family drama. Yeah, this is a very messed up family, and Electra and her mother do not have a good relationship, to say the least. But in getting both of their points of view in their own voices, you can see where both of them are coming from and understand why they just, I think, will never be able to see each other clearly and repair their mother-daughter bond. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really, really loving it. And it will come out later this spring. I think it will be released in May, I believe. I'll check that for sure before I finish the book. But yeah, she does have an earlier Greek mythology retelling. Jennifer Saint does Ariadne. So if you think you might enjoy a Jennifer Saint retelling, Ariadne is already out, and you could read that while you wait for Electra, if you are on the Greek mythology retelling train, which I definitely am. It is a trend that I am fully excited about, and I'm glad that there will be, and there already is, more that I haven't read, because I have only started my journey in this world. And yeah, there will be more to come. I also started a new book this week. It came in my, it's a library audiobook that I have been waiting for, and it came into my Libby app. It was my turn. So I started The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Delilah Harris. And it is a thriller set in the publishing industry. And Nella works in a very prestigious publishing house in New York City. It's her dream job, and she works so hard to get there. And she is the only Black person that is working in the editorial side. There are Black people working in the mailroom and Black people in the building staff as janitors, but she is the only Black person that is working with the books in the editorial side. She is an assistant to a famous editor, or an editor that works with some famous writers. So one of the major editors there. And one day in the beginning of this book, there is a new editorial assistant hired, and she is also Black. So now Nella is so excited to have another Black person in the editorial department, someone who will be close to her cubicle. Actually, they have like cubicles like right across from each other. So they're sitting close to each other. She is very excited to have another Black person to be in that very, very white space with her, and who will understand what it's like to be in such a white space as one of the only or one of the very few Black people. But things do not develop as Nella hopes. Yeah, this is a thriller, and we also get some snippets. There's a prologue that's back in the past, and there's also kind of a mystery about two Black women that worked in this publishing house in the 70s. Black author and a Black, well, the author didn't work for the publisher, but the author was had a contract with the publisher and worked with one of the editors, and they were a Black editor and Black author pairing in the 70s, and wrote a very, very famous book. Now, I actually looked up the title of the book because I wondered if it might be referencing a real book. But the title of the book is not an actual title. Now, it might be referencing, like, not using the same title, but it might be alluding to maybe a different book in the 70s that I'm not aware of, or whatever. But the title in The Other Black Girl is not the title of a book from the 70s, but there was this book, and they became famous for this book, just became like, everybody read it. Everybody was talking about it. It just set the reading world, and it was a very big cultural moment. And this editor and author collaboration, they became famous. But then that editor, not very long after, just a couple of years after, just disappeared. And nobody knows where she went, what happened. She hasn't edited anything more. There's been no public anything from her. And so that is kind of a mystery in the past of this publishing house. So, and there are a couple of other characters that we get some points of view chapters from here and there. So it seems like there might be a connection between the two stories, the one from the past and the one that's happening now. And I'm loving it. I am just loving it. I've only been listening to it for 3 days. I mean, I started it 3 days ago, but I am nearly 50% of the way through. I'm like 40-some%, and just really loving it. The audio has different readers for different points of view, so it's it feels a bit like a full cast narration, and it's a really good audiobook experience. I recommend it as audio. Yeah, so it's really great. That is The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Delilah Harris. And that is all the reading. But I do want to mention one more thing. One of the bad things in Texas the last couple of weeks has been the fight to ban a whole bunch of books from schools and libraries. And that has also been going on in places outside of Texas too. But it is a real movement. There is a real fight in the United States, in different states, but including Texas, and to ban so many books from schools and libraries. And I am so proud of and so happy to hear of the teachers and the librarians who are fighting to stop books from being banned. And I think that is an important fight. And I was wondering, is anybody who may be watching this video, any of you, are you up for reading some banned books together, or one banned book if we can choose one, or just doing some kind of something about reading banned books? Is anybody watching interested in that? Please say something in the comments below. Because I would love I am planning myself to read several banned books the rest of this year, and but if anybody would like to do something together, to read any banned books, I would love to do that together and figure out what we would like to do and how we would like to do it. Talk about it in the comments. And also, please, I love to hear from you in the comments, and I would love to hear about anything that you're reading right now, or any crafty or any other kind of creative things that you're doing that you are enjoying and that you want to talk about. I'd love to hear about your creative life, anything that you're doing in the comments. And I hope that you are safe and well wherever you are. I hope that all of your family and your loved ones are well, and take care. Let's be good to each other, and let's take care of each other. And yeah. Talk to you in the next video. See you later. Bye bye.